Hello, everyone. I never saw it coming. Not in a million years. One moment, life was as routine as ever, and the next, it unraveled right in front of me. It started on what should have been just another quiet morning. Nothing out of the ordinary. Until it was. I stirred awake to the dim glow of my phone screen flashing beside me. A string of missed calls, 15 to be exact, all from a number I didn't recognize. Normally, I would have brushed it off, assumed it was just another spammer or some relentless telemarketer. But something about the sheer number of calls twisted my gut. Along with them were voicemails, each one waiting like a loaded gun. I sat up, rubbing the sleep from my eyes, hesitating. From the next room, I could hear the soft, steady breathing of my daughters, Emma and Rachel. The sound was a quiet reminder. Whatever this was, I had to handle it. With a deep breath, I tapped play on the first message. A cold, clinical voice filled the air. "This is Boulder Memorial Hospital. We need to speak with you immediately regarding a patient. Anna Carter." Anna, my wife. My pulse spiked, my brain scrambling to process what I had just heard. Anna was supposed to be in Jacksonville, Florida, visiting her parents and sister for the weekend. That was the plan. That was what she told me. So what the hell was she doing in Boulder, Colorado? For a long moment, I just sat there, frozen. My wife had lied to me. But why? And why was she in a hospital? The questions clawed at me, the answers still hidden in the shadows. But they were there, waiting. Then, like a punch to the gut, I remembered something. A news article I'd barely glanced at earlier that morning. I grabbed my phone and pulled up the headlines. "Freak wildfire devastates Boulder suburb overnight." My stomach dropped. A sick, creeping dread coiled around me as I stood up, moving toward Anna's home office. It was in the dining room, a space she had claimed years ago. I flicked on the light. Her laptop sat on the desk, closed but still humming softly. Anna was careless like that, always trusting that I would never invade her privacy. Well, whatever trust we had, it was gone now. I flipped open the screen, expecting it to light up as usual. Instead, I was met with a password lock. That had never been there before. My chest tightened. She was hiding something, digging through her desk drawers. I found a sticky note, crumpled, hastily scribbled with a string of numbers and letters. My fingers trembled as I typed them in. The laptop unlocked, and that's when I saw it. The truth. Anna hadn't gone to Jacksonville. She had flown to Boulder to spend the weekend with Ethan Monroe, her ex-boyfriend from college, the one who had shattered her heart all those years ago, the one she still spoke about in hushed tones, her voice tinged with something between nostalgia and regret. And now she had burned for him. My hands curled into fists as I scrolled through her emails, her messages, her travel confirmations. She had planned this, every detail. And she hadn't done it alone. Her parents, her sister, they had covered for her, lied for her. They had always thought she should have ended up with Ethan instead of me. And judging by the text between them, they were all too happy to help her sneak away. It was sickening. The messages between her and Ethan read like some cheap romance novel, full of stolen moments and rekindled passion. Except this wasn't some tragic love story. She had flown across the country to cheat on me, and the universe had made her pay for it. But not enough. Not yet. I took a long breath, forcing down the anger pulsing through me. Rage could cloud judgment. And I needed a clear head for what came next. Because if there was one thing I knew for sure, revenge, when done right, required patience. Before I could form my next move, my phone buzzed again. Another voicemail. But this time, it wasn't from the hospital. It was from Sophia Monroe, Ethan's wife. A slow, dark grin curled on my lips. It seemed I wasn't the only one whose life had just been torn apart. I hit call back and waited. The line connected instantly. "Mr. Carter." Her voice was steady. Too steady. Like she had already cried all the tears she had left. "I assume you know everything." "I do." The words left my mouth cold and deliberate. A silence stretched between us. Thick, suffocating, charged with fury, grief, and something else. An understanding. Then Sophia spoke, her voice steady but laced with an edge of something sharp. Let's make them regret it, Benjamin. Every last second. And in that moment, I knew we weren't just going to sit back and let karma do its work. We were going to be karma. The plan. Over the next 24 hours, Sophia and I pieced together a plan. One designed to turn their betrayal into their worst nightmare. But we needed patience. Luna was in a medically induced coma. Her body was burned beyond recognition, her lungs barely holding on. Jack was in the same condition, fighting for every breath. They were weak, vulnerable, the perfect time to strike. But not yet. First, I had to tear apart the perfect little world Luna had built. And that started with her family. The call. I dialed Luna's father, Bob. He picked up immediately. Benjamin. His voice was cautious, like he already knew. I let the silence stretch. Let him squirm. Finally, he spoke. Have you heard from Luna? I smiled, cold, joyless. Why would I? She's in Jacksonville, isn't she? Spending time with you, your wife, and your daughter? Silence. A sharp exhale. He knew. Benjamin. She loves you. Cut the crap, Bob. My voice snapped like a whip. You covered for her. Lied to me. And now, she's lying in a hospital bed, burned beyond recognition, because she wanted to spread her legs for an old flame. And you helped her do it. Bob stammered. But I wasn't interested in excuses. Don't ever call me again. I hung up, blocked his number. Then I blocked Luna's mother, her sister, every last enabler who had played a role in this mess. She was cut off. And that was just the beginning. A new discovery. The next morning, my phone buzzed again. I already knew who it was. Sophia. Her voice came through the speaker, calm but venomous. I found something interesting. I leaned forward, gripping my coffee cup. Go on. Jack had a second phone. That got my attention. I went through his messages, Benjamin. They weren't just having an affair. They were planning to leave us. Something dark twisted inside me. Explain. Luna was going to file for divorce right after this trip. Jack had already transferred thousands to a private account. I swallowed the rage clawing its way up my throat. These selfish, entitled bastards had already decided we were disposable. How much? My voice was dangerously low. Enough to start fresh. They weren't just sneaking around, Benjamin. They were building a future without us. I exhaled slowly, letting the fury settle deep in my bones. We're going to take everything from them. Every last thing. Sophia's voice dropped to a whisper. Agreed. But first, let's make their suffering worse. And just like that, our widow's pact was sealed. The legal war. Step 1. Psychological destruction. Jack and Luna had risked everything for each other. Now, they would watch it all slip through their fingers. I reached out to a lawyer. Not just any lawyer. An aggressive, ruthless divorce attorney who specialized in financial devastation. I handed over everything. Luna's hidden bank transfers. Her deceit. Her betrayal. Sophia launched her own legal war. Jack had assumed his assets would be split between his wife and kids in the event of his death. But we found a loophole. If Jack was proven to have committed marital fraud, which is second phone, secret accounts, and messages confirmed beyond any doubt, Sophia could strip him of everything. His house, his savings, his inheritance. And the best part? He was powerless to stop it. Not from a hospital bed. The moment I had been waiting for. Days later, the call came. Mr. Carter? A professional voice, cool and detached. Your wife is conscious. My pulse quickened. Has she asked for me? Yes. A pause. She seems distressed. Good. Put me on speaker. Seconds passed. Then a weak, rasping voice filled the silence. Ben. I let the silence stretch. Let her feel it. Let her drown in it. Benjamin, please. I need you. I took a slow breath. And then I spoke the words that would haunt her for the rest of her miserable life. I hope you burn in hell, Luna. A pause. And just so you know, I'm going to spend every single penny of your life insurance on Jack's widow. The heart monitor spiked. The nurse gasped. And then, silence. The call disconnected. And just like that, her world crumbled. I chuckled to myself. That was one hell of a start. While Luna clung to life, I made sure there was nothing left for her to return to. Every lie, every deceitful message, every shameful detail of her affair. I gathered them all, took screenshots, and sent them out like a damn press release. Her friends? They got the full, unfiltered truth. Her coworkers? Each received a personalized email detailing just how low she had sunk. Her boss? He received proof that her business trip was nothing more than a well-orchestrated excuse to cheat. And as for her Facebook friends, well, I made sure they saw everything before I wiped her account from existence. By the time Luna finally opened her eyes, she was already a pariah. But Sophia and I, we were just getting started. Jack's fall. While Jack remained in a coma, Sophia went to work. She froze everything. His accounts, his savings, his house. By the time he woke up, his entire world had been reduced to ashes. No money, no home, no future. And just when he thought things couldn't possibly get worse, I paid him a visit. Jack looked like a corpse that hadn't figured out how to die yet. His face was barely recognizable, his body weak, his eyes filled with something that might have been regret. Good. He deserved it. I pulled up a chair beside his bed, leaned in close, and whispered, "You thought you won, didn't you?" His breathing hitched. "You took my wife. You planned to start a new life." I let the words sink in before I delivered the final blow. But instead, you're rotting in this hospital bed while I destroy everything you've ever loved. Jack's lips parted. He tried to speak, but his voice was nothing more than a whisper of air. "Luna's gone. Your money's gone. Your house is gone." And then I smiled. "And guess what, Jack? I'm the one who took it all away from you." His heart monitor spiked. Doctors rushed in, alarms blaring. But before I walked out, I turned back and delivered one final parting gift. "Oh, and one more thing. Sophia and I are going on a cruise together." Jack's body convulsed. That was the last time I saw him alive. The end of Jack Harker. That night, Sophia called me. Her voice was void of emotion. "It's over," she said flatly. "No," I corrected. "It's just getting started." Because now, it was Luna's turn. Her worst nightmare. 2 days. That's how long I waited before visiting her. I wanted her to marinate in her own suffering, to let the terror of being alone consume her. By the time I stepped into her hospital room, she looked like a ghost of herself. Her once flawless skin was now a patchwork of burns. Her lips cracked and dry, her arms wrapped in bandages, and her eyes? Pure, raw fear. "B-Ben," she croaked. I sat down beside her, watching her squirm in discomfort. "You look awful," I mused. Her chin trembled. I didn't mean. I cut her off, my voice dropping into a cold whisper. "Jack is dead." Her breath hitched. Her broken body flinched, as if I had just stabbed her through the heart. "W what?" "He died yesterday. Cardiac arrest. He's gone, Luna." Her lips quivered. Tears welled in the corners of her swollen eyes. "No, no, no, no." I smirked. "Yes." Then I leaned in and delivered the final blow. "Oh, and by the way, Sophia and I are going on a cruise together. Thought you should know." A strangled, guttural sob tore from her throat, a sound so hollow and broken it sent chills down my spine. I stood up, watching her fall apart in front of me. "I hope you suffer, Luna." I turned toward the door. Every single day. And with that, I walked away. That was the last time I ever saw her. The final move. Luna was officially broken. But I had one last move to make. Her life insurance had already been processed. The money sat in my account, a reminder of her betrayal. But I wasn't about to spend it on something as meaningless as a funeral. Instead, I used it to make a statement. I donated a large sum to a burn survivors foundation in Jack's name. And the rest? I took Sophia on that cruise. We didn't fall in love. We weren't soulmates. We weren't some twisted revenge couple. But we understood each other's pain. And that was enough. As we stood on the deck of the cruise ship, staring out at the endless ocean. She turned to me. "Do you think they're burning in hell together?" she asked. I thought about it for a moment. Then I smiled. I sure as hell hope so. And for the first time in a long, long time, I felt free. Luna's fate. She spent another 3 weeks in that hospital, trapped in a body she no longer recognized. I never visited. No one did. Her parents? They begged me, pleaded, to help with her medical expenses, to show compassion. I laughed in their faces. They wanted me to spend my money on the woman who had betrayed me, the same woman who lied to my face, who planned to run off with another man while I was at home taking care of our daughters. Not a chance. I sent one final message to her parents before blocking them forever. I already paid for her funeral. She just hasn't died yet. And that was that. No home, no family, no future. While Luna wasted away in a hospital bed, I had been busy. I legally evicted her from my home. By the time she was discharged, she would have nowhere to go. Her family? They had disowned her, too ashamed to be associated with what she had done. And Jack? Well, he was 6 feet under. Luna had destroyed everything for him. And now, she had no one. Homeless, broke, completely alone. Perfect. The final goodbye. Luna had already lost everything. But I wanted her to see it in writing. So I had my lawyer deliver the divorce papers straight to her hospital room. She was still bandaged, too weak to even lift a pen. But I made sure she read them. Irreconcilable differences. The last thing she would ever sign with my name on, it would be the document that erased her from my life. She was no longer my wife. Just another mistake I had corrected. A desperate plea. One night, while I was having dinner with my daughters, my phone buzzed. An unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. Hours later, curiosity got the best of me. So I played it. Ben. Luna's voice. Weak. Fragile. I know you hate me. I deserve it. But I just need somewhere to stay. Please. I have nothing left. Silence. Then a ragged, broken sob. Please. I don't know where to go. I deleted the voicemail. Then I blocked her number. No sympathy. No mercy. She had made her choice. Now, she could live with it. The fall of Luna Carter. The day Luna was finally discharged, the world was waiting for her. Because of my carefully placed information leaks, everyone knew. Her friends? Gone. Her career? Destroyed. Her reputation? In flames. She couldn't even walk outside without people whispering. No job. No money. Just stares, disgust, and judgment. She had become a disgrace. Exactly what she deserved. Sophia's farewell. Sophia called me one last time. "I've decided to move," she said. "Where?" I asked. "Somewhere new. Somewhere no one knows what happened." I respected that. She had gotten her revenge, just like I had. "And you?" she asked. I smiled. "I already have everything I need." With the life insurance payout, my daughters would never have to worry. I focused on them. Their happiness. Their future. They deserved a father who wasn't broken by the past. And so, I never spoke Luna's name again. As far as I was concerned, she had died in that fire. The last glance. Months later, I was walking through the city with my daughters when I saw her. Luna. She was sitting on a dirty street corner, wrapped in a thin, tattered jacket. Her scarred face was turned down, her eyes hollow, lost in some distant place. She didn't see me, didn't even look up. She was just another forgotten soul. I almost laughed. She had chosen this path. And now, she had to live with it. I didn't stop. I didn't speak. I just walked past her like she never existed. And that was the sweetest revenge of all. Because she knew she had lost everything, including me, a life without her. Years passed. Luna faded into nothing. I never looked for her, never cared. I was free, and I was happy, because I had won, and she had burned for it. No regrets. People always ask me, do I regret it? Do I wish I had forgiven her? The answer? Never. She made her choices, and I made mine. She lost. I won. Luna became nothing more than a whispered story, a cautionary tale of what happens when you destroy the wrong man. I built a new life, a better life, one where her name didn't exist. And for that, I was grateful. One day, I found an old photo of us. I looked at it, then I threw in the trash, because that's where she belonged. And I never thought about her again. The truth about revenge. They say revenge is sweet, but I disagree. It's cold, sharp, precise, and when done right, it lasts forever, just like the scars she left behind. The difference? Mine healed. Hers never would. See you soon, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, so I have the motivation to teach and find stories for you.